It's Kyle, and this is a really exciting video for me. I feel I can finally share my thoughts on the differences between genuine GoPro mounts and aftermarket cheap mounts, which you can find on Amazon for a tenth of the price of the GoPro one. So I'm not talking about the premium aftermarket accessories. Those are made by premium companies, well-renowned companies. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the very, very cheap, no-name knockoff GoPro accessories you can find on Amazon for pennies. And I have used a fair number of them. I've got them with other kits and other things like that, and I have used them, and really there are some differences here and there, and you can always tell which ones are the cheap accessory. If you throw it in a bin with other GoPro nuts and bolts, you will be able to find them. The plastic feels slightly different, and I feel the bolts are often not quite as refined and don't go into the nuts quite as well. But at the end of the day, everything I've had has worked, and it's worked just about as well as the actual GoPro ones. The teeth on the extension arms often don't fit together quite as well. Often they have little rough spots around the edges, which you kind of need to file off before they'll fit together perfectly. So there's a little bit more fiddling involved, and they're definitely not quite as refined. That's kind of what I keep finding with these cheap aftermarket accessories, that they're not quite as refined as the actual GoPro one. So the answer to the question of whether you should buy cheap aftermarket accessories or steer completely clear of them is you should really just proceed with your own caution. Read the reviews that people leave about the mounts. There's always cheap aftermarket accessories that are really, really popular, and there's tons of reviews about them. So read those, try to filter out the BS, and get a sense of what the actual product is like. Most of the time, I found those to be really, really accurate representations of what the product's like. I mean, be wary if there's like only 2 5-star reviews. Those are probably bot reviews, guys. Like, use some common sense. But if there's tons and tons of reviews and it's one of the top sellers on Amazon, it's probably a fairly good bet that whatever people are saying about it, and the general consensus that people are saying about it, is fairly reflective of what the product's actually like. And then just know what you're getting into, and don't expect the world for nothing. If you pay $5 for a chest mount, you're probably not going to get a chest mount that's quite as refined as the $40 GoPro chest mount, but you might get something that gets you a really great chest mounted shot, and maybe with a little bit of fiddling here and there, or maybe the adjustment system's not quite as nice, but maybe it works just fine, and you've still got $35. So, I mean, go into it expecting what you're paying for. And I've had fairly good luck with these accessories. The base plates seem fairly good. One thing I would check is what kind of adhesive the base plates come with. There's lots of kits of base plates. Some of them come with genuine VHB adhesive, and some of them come with this other adhesive, which we're not really sure, is it VHB or not? It doesn't say VHB on the bottom of it, so maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I would try to order ones with the actual VHB adhesive. I don't really have a definite conclusion for this video. What I have found is that the cheap aftermarket accessories always seem to perform basically just like you would expect them to. However, I have found that if I put 2 of them side by side, a genuine GoPro mount and a cheap aftermarket accessory, you can always find that cheap one. The one product I am very wary of looking at is the suction cup mounts. There's lots of very cheap suction cup mounts out there. Be wary of them. Their locking mechanisms and their adjustment systems are not always that good. So pay really close attention to the suction cup mounts if you're going to be getting something that's not a GoPro suction cup mount, or one that's from a really, really well-renowned builder. Just read all of the comments and all of the reviews on that product, because it's really critical. Like, if you put a suction cup mount on the side of a car and it falls off, you're basically going to destroy your GoPro. So really pay attention to the suction cup mounts. And that also brings up the good topic of buy good mounts for areas and situations in which you really need that mount to not fail. There's places where we're mounting where it doesn't really matter if the mount fails and if it breaks, but there's others where it's absolutely critical that that mount holds on. Guys, this was another video from me, Kyle. If you've enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe, like the video, and if you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below. I read all of those, and I do respond to as many of them as I can. Until next time, guys, thank you very, very much for watching.